Hello everyone, my name is Steven and I am a first year dental student. One of the most important factors of studying for long hours in school is your study space. This space that you create around you can make or break your productivity. Today, I'm going to talk about how I built my dream productivity desk setup from the ground up. Desks are so important, and as students, we practically spend our entire lives at these hunks of wood and metal. In my mind, we should do our best to set ourselves up for success by creating a space that is conducive to hard work. Before starting dental school, I began the process of building the desk setup that would allow me the greatest opportunity for academic success and the greatest ability to make these YouTube videos. And so this is what I came up with. There's no better place to start than the desk itself. The base of the desk is from Fully, and it's the Jarvis sit-stand desk. Our backs are important, and sitting for many hours isn't necessarily the best thing for them. For this reason, I chose to go with a desk that gave me the option to sit and stand depending on my mood. I went with the option to have electronic motors, which raise and lower the desk. And if you're wondering, this desk has the up-down toggle handset, which is the little switch you see here that tells it to raise up and lower down. The wooden top of this desk is what allows me to title this desk handmade because, well, it's handmade. Before dental school began, I got very into woodworking. The crown jewel of my woodworking endeavors was this desktop, and to this day, it is one of the finest things my hands have ever crafted, certainly finer than my Class 2 cavity preparations. The top is made from 4 pieces of white oak. In between these 4 pieces of white oak are 2 smaller strips of Peruvian walnut. I wanted the design of this desk to be simple but unique. The walnut pops and sets this desk apart from pretty much every other desk I've seen. With the help of a good friend of my dad's, I put this desk together piece by piece. A couple of glue ups, a metric ton of finish sanding, and a half of a can of polyurethane later, I had a beautiful desktop that perfectly fit my new Jarvis base. I'm proud of this setup. What I'm less proud of is the underside of the desk, aka the cable management, or rather lack thereof. My cable management leaves a bit to be desired. Everything is under there and secured, which is what matters. It may not be the prettiest sight, but it's out of the way, and that's kind of all that matters. Under the desk, I screwed in a surge protector that would allow me to plug in various accessories along with the Jarvis base itself. This is the base of power and where all of the magic happens. Also under this desk is my Wi-Fi setup. My router is here even though it messes with the one-cord plan that I originally had for the desk. You have to have Wi-Fi though, so for now, it's gonna stay. On the top of the desk, you will see all sorts of accessories, and most notable of these accessories is my massive ultra-wide monitor. If you wanna know the one thing that I think is most important to this entire setup and most conducive to better productivity, it's this monitor. The monitor is, and this is a long name, so get ready, the Scepter 30-inch curved gaming monitor, 21x9, 2560 by 1080, ultra wide, ultra slim HDMI DisplayPort up to 200 Hertz. I got it on Amazon, and when I got it, it was, I think, on sale, and I had a gift card, so I ended up paying like $200 for it, which in the grand scheme of ultra-wide monitors is ridiculously cheap because most of them start at base like $500. This monitor is honestly fantastic, and the main reason that I wanted it was the ultra-wide screen. It isn't as beautiful and perfect as some of the ultra-wide monitors out there, but it absolutely does everything that I've ever wanted it to do, and it makes using multiple apps or multiple windows at the same time a breeze. Originally, the monitor sat on the stand that it came with, but after using that for a little bit, I decided I wanted to get a monitor arm to attach it to the desk. To be honest, the main reason for the monitor arm was just because it looked cool, but it does serve some function as it allows you to swing the monitor out and swivel it in pretty much any direction that you'd want to. I don't really move the monitor all that much, but sometimes when I'm shooting thumbnails for videos on this channel, I'll move it out of the way, and that monitor arm makes it really easy. The arm that I went with is the Vivo single monitor mount stand. You can also find this on Amazon, and I think it was like 30 bucks, which is a pretty good price for something like this. So once again, entirely optional, but a pretty cool purchase. On the back of the desktop, you will see the most recent addition to this entire setup, which is an LED light strip. When I first made this desk, I had thought about doing this, but I wasn't sold on the concept. It wasn't until I saw a bunch of other people do similar things with their desks when I decided that was really cool and I was definitely gonna do that. So I bought a 16-inch LED light strip from Amazon, and there are like tons of options for these. I just picked the one that was pretty much cheapest, and it has all sorts of LED options to change the color of your desk setup. Sometimes I don't feel like using the color, and that's totally fine. I can just turn it off, but when I'm feeling adventurous, I can let the colors go wild and pretty much put anything up there that I want. Every desk needs a lamp, but the type of lamp you get could really set your desk apart. Once again, I got this desk lamp on Amazon and it's made by the company Tommins. I thought it worked really well with all of the other materials I had used in this desk. The wooden swing arm and almost space gray color of the lamp itself were perfect for what I was going for, and I was pretty pumped when I found it on Amazon for a reasonable price. Additionally, inside this lamp, I have an LED bulb that gives me 8 color options, so I can do even more customization to the colors of this desk. And when the bulb is putting out a color instead of its normal white light, it's a bit dimmer than normal, but I'm still able to create some pretty cool combinations and effects with both the LED strip on the back of the desk and the bulb itself. Another accessory and very recent addition to this desk is the completely unnecessary cinema sign that you can see below the lamp. This cinema sign is yet another source of light, and it changes colors just like the strip on the back of the desk. I kind of like the white setting the most, but it's really cool because you can put any sort of writing inside the sign that you want. I currently have my name and my future profession in that sign, but it's completely customizable and kind of just a cool little accessory to the desk. On the other side of the desk, you will see the computer that powers all of this, and that is my 2019 MacBook Pro. I recently made a video fully devoted to this computer, and if you want to see that, you can check it out right here. The MacBook pretty much always sits in clamshell mode, which is basically when it's closed, plugged into an HDMI and a power cord. That of course goes behind the desk and eventually up into the monitor where I'm able to do everything on a big ultra-wide screen. And I keep the MacBook in clamshell mode in a little wooden stand that I also made in my woodworking phase. This little wooden stand is made of the same white oak that I made the desk out of, and it's another cool little personal touch that makes this desk special to me. Of course, when you go with an ultra-wide monitor setup and your MacBook in clamshell, you need some computer peripherals. For the keyboard, I went with a Satechi keyboard in space gray. I originally wanted an Apple keyboard to match the space gray MacBook that I have, but it was like $150 and I was not about to pay that. So I ended up finding Satechi, which is a small company, and they made a keyboard that was in space gray that was very similar to the one that you can get from Apple. I thought it looked awesome and it had the ability to pair 3 Bluetooth devices, which was really cool. So I went ahead and purchased it. This keyboard has honestly been awesome and I've never had any problems with it. It plugs in USB-C to the wall to charge it, which is really nice. You don't even have to worry about batteries. And like I said, it pairs with 3 Bluetooth devices. So I typically use it with my MacBook, but occasionally I'll use it with my iPad Pro. For the mouse, I went with the Logitech Pebble. The Pebble is a really small and really cheap mouse from Logitech. But honestly, I didn't need anything fancy and I kind of liked the colorway of this gray, so I went with it. The only thing I'll say about this mouse is if you're gonna order a mouse from Logitech, don't order it from their website. Try and see if you can find it on Amazon or somewhere else because the shipping process from Logitech was terrible. But I really like this mouse, and the coolest thing about it is that it's basically silent when you click, and that's one of the selling points of this particular mouse. It's supposed to be a really portable Bluetooth mouse that is really quiet and you can use anywhere. It's done the job for me and I can't complain about it. Another thing that every desk setup needs is a plant. Now my plant is currently kind of dying. So one of my purchases going into the new year is going to be a new plant, but this plant is actually real and I've kind of kept it alive for a long time. So I'm pretty proud of that. I also have a few succulent plants that occasionally find their way onto the desk, but this is the one that usually stays there. It's a nice little added touch, and I think there is actually some research to suggest that a little bit of greenery in a workspace is conducive to hard work and productivity. Additionally, a lot of times when I'm studying, I will put a candle on my desk and light that baby up. The candle that I'm currently using is from Target, and my girlfriend got it for me, and it smells incredible. It also has the little crackling wood wick, so that's kind of a cool addition as well. Above my desk setup, you will find 2 pieces of art that are once again handmade. As I've said and alluded to multiple times, I'm a dental student, so I wanted some artwork to kind of signify that sat above my desk. And instead of going out and buying something from the internet, I decided to use my own creative abilities and try and draw some graphite artwork of the teeth in the mouth. I used the Netter's anatomy flashcards as my reference pictures for these drawings, but honestly, I'm pretty impressed with the way they came out, and I really like the way they look above the desk. Like I said, they're just graphite, so I did them with a mixture of different art pencils and I didn't color them in, so I kind of like how the monotones match the room and the rest of the vibe that's going on in here. And to go along with the theme, basically nothing that is wood on this setup was purchased other than the lamp, so I actually made the frames for the pictures as well. I once again needed help from my dad's friend to do this, but we made these frames and they came out really perfect. They're made from the same white oak that I made everything else from, and I put some glass from Home Depot inside, and honestly the finished product is pretty clean. Do I have enough handmade stuff on this setup? No. The last part of this setup, which is kind of adjacent to the setup itself, is this little shelf that I made to sit next to the desk. And yes, I once again made this by hand with the same wood that I made everything else out of. I really had a lot of time on my hands before I started school. Like a lot. This little shelf is super simple. It's just 3 shelves made out of I think 8-inch wide planks of that white oak. And I tried a unique little design where I wrapped the wood around the shelves themselves. And honestly, this little shelf just kind of serves as a miscellaneous space. I originally intended for it to be really organized and cool looking, but that kind of hasn't happened. So as it sits, it's just a place where I put all the extra things that I don't want cluttering up my desk. And also, before anyone makes fun of me, I have more books back at home in Nashville. I just didn't bring them here to school. Yeah, so honestly, I think that's pretty much it. This desk setup was a dream of mine, and it was something that I planned for and put together for literally months of my life. Like I've said multiple times, I had a bunch of time to kind of go out and research all of these different pieces and then actually put them together. The finished product is a fantastic space that allows me to do anything I want. I have a ton of space to actually work on with the desktop itself. I can raise the desk and lower it depending on if I want to sit or stand. And it looks really cool, both in my apartment and on these YouTube videos. So that's pretty much it for this video and for my desk setup. If you liked what you saw here, please remember to like the video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've had some requests in the past to make a video about this desk, and it's been something that I've wanted to do for a while, so I'm glad I finally got to do it. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you stick around for more of my content in the future. That's gonna be it from me today. I will see you all next time.